אילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות. ואילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו.
אילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות. ואילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות. מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך שמך מלכנו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך שהלכתי, לך זה לא שינה, ומיד כשחזרתי הייתה לך הרגשה שאני עוד אוהב אותך, שאני כבר שלך, ואהבת ושמחת וחשבת שרציתי להיות שם תמיד בשבילך, כי ידעתי שככה זה טוב, שלשניים יהיה יותר פשוט לאהוב, כל הדרך אני לצידך. גם אני עוד שומע וגם אני לא יודע איך עושים את זה, איך שזה לא קל לאהוב ללא תנאי. והופתענו כשבא השינוי הגדול, והבטחנו תמיד לדבר, וראינו אחרי שבועות וימים שלא קל לעמוד מול הרגל. גם אני עוד שומע וגם אני לא יודע איך עושים את זה, איך שזה לא קל לאהוב ללא תנאי. שזה לא קל לאהוב.
Saca.
ידיד נפש אברחמן משוכבתך ארץ עונה
Shabbat Shalom. It is so nice to be together welcoming Shabbat once again. We pray for this sanctuary to become an extended home. We pray for our ability to reach all the way to your home, to your living room, to wherever you are sitting. We pray for all of us to be able to bring our energies to this place and to welcome Shabbat together. Go ahead and prepare your candles. Prepare a cup of wine. Let's together transform this Friday night into an evening of Shabbat, the Shabbat of Parashat Noach, in which, among other things, we read the story of the Tower of Babel, the Tower of the Confusion. The word Babel comes from the word Bilbul in Hebrew, confusion. It reminds us of our great ability to misplace our energies. It reminds us of how gifted, how talented we are, and how easily we can misplace our energies. Let's use this Shabbat, Zecher Lemaseh Bereshit, a reminder of the creation of the world. Help us reconnect with our core, reconnect with the places in which we really need to invest our energies, dedicate our focus. As we welcome Shabbat, we'd like to invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 120 for the blessing, for the candle lighting for Nerot Shabbat. And we would like to invite our Yaldat Bat Mitzvah. We would like to invite Rachel and Jamie to lead us on lighting Shabbat candles.
Wendy.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chag ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, Amen. We can't wait for Rachel tomorrow to come up to the Torah together with her family. We invite you now to turn your Sidurim to page 130 as we welcome this Shabbat with joy. Lechu neranena la'Adonai, followed by Shiru la'Adonai, Shir Chadash. Shabbat, a song of renewal, of transformation.
Lechu neranena la'Adonai, nariya letzur ishenu, nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot, nariya lo nekadma fanav betoda.
הארץ ישמחו הים רבים, ענם בערפל סביבו. אור שרו על הצדיק ולשלב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני והודו לסכר קודשו. Return our Sidurim to page 134. The word sambru, lesamer, means to sing. And we commonly use that word as sing. But lesamer also means to cut. And Shabbat reminds us of the things that we need to cut off, separate, in order to be able to connect with other things in our lives, with the things that bring a sense of difference, a sense of sacredness. Sambru, let's cut off the things that we don't need to carry, that we don't need to bring into this Shabbat. Let's allow the melodies, the words, the chants to help us get closer to this experience of creating a sacred time. Page 134.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וכל זמרה, בכינור וכל זמרה, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וכל זמרה, בכינור וכל זמרה, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני.
אידם הים ומלוא, תבל ויושרה, נהרות הרוחב, יחד הרים ירדנו, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, אלי בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני. I invite you to look at our Shabbos candles for a moment. Shabbat reminds us of the creation of the world. Reminds us of that light that was spread all over the world, and that was instilled within our hearts. Let's allow this Shabbat, this seventh day, this day of search for holiness, help us connect with that light. We're on page 136, Psalm 29, מזמור לדוד.
מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלי, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אלי הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, כל אדוני המים אל הכבוד ירים, אדוני המים רבים, כל אדוני
Beloved, let's come to the encounter of that is sacred. לך דודי לקראת כלה, we're on page 138.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור המלאכה, בראש מקדם וסוכה, סוף העשה במחשבת
כוכבי ומטרתי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר התהילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקרא בואי ושלום, עטרת פניו, גם בשמחה ובצורה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקרא אליי. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Shabbat is among us. And so we dedicate a moment to acknowledge each other's presence, to say Shabbat Shalom to those at home, to say Shabbat Shalom to our devoted team here at TVT, Jordan, Zach, Gabriel, Evan. Good Shabbat to you guys. We invite you to also join us on saying Shabbat Shalom and to say Shabbat Shalom to each other in the comments section on Facebook and on YouTube. The comments stay there, and it's nice to see that you were here, that you are present. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 140. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, a grand Shabbat, a wonderful song.
מזמור מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. 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 מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור מזמור שיר, שיר ליום בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי תכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי המלך יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמד קודשו בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא אמרו אמן.
We're on page 146. I invite you to please rise for Baruch, for the call to worship.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night. ומעביר יום ומהביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי ורבים. בת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצפתים, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים. אותנו לימדת. Everlasting love you offer your people Israel by teaching us your Torah and your mitzvot. And as we think of a legacy of love, we experience a connection with something that is greater than ourselves. Again and again, I invite you to think about what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel connected. What makes you feel transcendence. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and try to recognize that feel, that sense of connection. That loving experience. And allow that experience surround you, embrace you, accompany you, maybe even carry you. Focus on your breath for a moment. In and out. Allow that light fill your body. Bring new energy. Try to recognize what doesn't belong in there. And gently let it go as you exhale. Breathe in new energy. As you breathe out as you exhale, you take out the things that don't belong within yourself. And as we gradually feel more filled, but that sense of love, we pray, we say, dear God, please never remove that love from us. Never take away that ability to recognize what makes us, what makes me feel connected. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. May you once again to take one last deep breath. Out. On page 152 for the Shema.
Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. We continue on page 154 with Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם נאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת
באמונה כל סוד וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו בן זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. And when your children witness, they understood your presence. They praised your name in gratitude. And they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voice with joy. We're on page 158. Who is like you, O God? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai.
Come on,
unto God that we lay down in peace. Raise us up, our guardian to life renewed. השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ויעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
שמור צאתנו ופוענו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלום לך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים אמן. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ את הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש
We turn our siurim now to page 164 for Tfilat Amidah, as we ask to find the center, to find the words, yes, to become our own prayer.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד ופי יגיד תהילתך
אל תגיבו לעולם, אדוני מחייאת. אתה קדוש בנקרא קדוש בקדושים קיים. אתה קידשתי משמין. ראש מאמץ ונקוץ. אלוהינו ולאי אבותינו ואמותינו, רוצים מנחתנו, כשנו מצוותיך בטח יקנו בתורתך, וסבלנו מטובך. אלוהיך באמת, בהקלנו אדוני אלוהינו וברצון שבת קודשך בניחוד בישראל, קדשי שמך ברוכת אדוני מקדש השבח, עד רצה אדוני אלוהינו, בעמך ישראל, בתבלתם בבא תקבל, ותהיה לרצון תמיד, ועבודת ישראל עמך, אל קרוב לכל קוריו. אדון לציהו, עומדים לך לך אדוני אלוהינו ולאי אבותינו ואמותינו, נאום צורכנו וגנשנו. שלום רב לישראל, עמך תשים לעולם גאול. ולרצון ממרפי, בהגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני, צורי בגואלי, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, אדוני, my rock and my redeemer. וזה שלום במרומיו. וזה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל. במרו אמן. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us. Help us understand that it's on us to make peace, to be able to communicate with each other. As we think about peace, we also think about the news coming from Israel with the new normalization of relations with Sudan. We hope, we pray that gradually many, or as soon as possible actually, many other countries will normalize its connection with their connections with Israel. We pray for ourselves to normalize our relationships in this country that is so divided that it becomes almost ill. We pray for our ability to make peace with each other, to recognize our differences, to accept our diversity, and to understand that Shalom, wholeness, is created by bringing all the pieces together, not by becoming the same, but by bringing all the pieces together. So Shalom Bimbro Maui, Shalom Aleinu Velkol Israel, Bimbro, Amen. Peace for all of us. Let's say Amen. We now take a moment to think of those dealing with illness. In this time of COVID-19, we think of all those that are right now dealing with this terrible pandemic in their own bodies, those that are praying for family members. We think of first line workers, first responders. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies, those dealing with illness in their souls, in their hearts. We think of those dealing with addictions. And together we join in prayer on page 371, Mishiberach.
May the source of strength
of them רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה. A complete and a fast recovery. And let us say
Amen.
Amen. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Who knows what Torah portion we read this week? You can write it on the comments. I already said that at the beginning of our service. We read Parashat Noach. And Parashat Noach is a new beginning, right? We learned that Noah is a righteous man for his time, and he is given the instruction to build an ark and to gather his family and the animals, and you know how that story goes. But once the flood ended and they are finally able to leave the ark, a new covenant is offered to the earth, to all the creatures of the earth, and to humanity. Now, it's not a creation anew. It is a new covenant because these people will have the collective memory of the tragedy of the flood. They will have the collective memory somewhere, somehow, of the consequences, the social consequences of immoral behavior. But once again, the mitzvah, the commandment of pru verbu, of multiply, be fruitful, appears in the Torah, and that mitzvah is given to all the creatures on earth, and of course, to human beings. And so, Bnei Noach, the children of Noah, are given this mitzvah, and they are supposed to create continuity for this world. And Torah tells us that Noah was Ish Adama, a man who loved working the earth, working with soil, and so he planted a vineyard. And so, says the Torah, he got drunk, and he uncovered himself, or he undressed himself, and he fell asleep in his tent. Canaan, his grandchild, comes into the tent and discovers that his grandfather is naked. So what does he do? He goes out and he calls his father, Ham, the son of Noah. And apparently the two of them have some fun seeing the image of their drunk father and grandfather laying naked in his tent. And so Ham decides to go and call his siblings. He tells them what's going on, and he calls them, apparently with intention to keep making fun at his father's expense. Now, the other two siblings enter the tent while trying to turn their heads around, trying not to see the privacy, the intimacy of their father, and they cover him, and they leave the tent, trying to avoid to look at him, to see him. In the morning, when Noah wakes up and he understands what happened to him, and there are all kinds of interpretations over what happened to Noah when he was with Ham and Canaan. The rabbis have a variety of interpretations, but let's just stick to the idea that they made fun of him. When he learns that, he curses them. And he tells them that they will be cursed forever. And they will be serving the children of the other two, children of Noah, forever. Now, this story struck me particularly strongly this time. This idea of being exposed, of being seen, when you are in a private moment, when you are in a moment that you wouldn't like anyone else to see you. A few months ago, when COVID hit, and all of a sudden, at least in my household, and I know that in many others, my children started to work with devices more often. I was really, really preoccupied over this idea of them being exposed, of them not being aware that they are undressing, going to a restaurant, taking the tablet with them, and everyone else seeing them in a moment that they wouldn't like to be seen, or that we didn't like for them to be seen. And so we have been telling them again and again and again, be careful, turn off your device, leave your computer here, don't. And these same conversations we have with teenagers. When they start having private moments with fellow teenagers, we beg them, don't ever record yourself. That can be terrible. And the reason we beg them not to do that is because that happens very often. And the consequences are terrible. They are bullied. They are harassed with the images taken from them. It is really, really, really concerning. This week, as many of you probably know, there was a senior journalist that was seen in a Zoom conversation, apparently doing something that you are supposed to be doing in a private time, in a private moment, in a private place. And we still don't know what are the details of the situation. I'm not sure that we need to know. But we don't know if this is the context of something that is sexual harassment. If we are talking about sexual harassment, then it should be publicized and it should be denounced. But if it's not sexual harassment, and it is, as he defined that, an act of stupidity, and you could say an act of stupidity, an act of obscenity, a lack of judgment, I don't know. I can think of so many adjectives for that wrongdoing. It's always wrong. But you would wish, or you would say, okay, the HR unit of his company needs to take care of that. And what we actually saw, and they're probably doing that, was an immediate reaction in the media. And that struck me very, very hardly. Because the reactions and the jokes in social media reminded me of the same vocabulary that I have seen when a child or a teenager is being cyberbullied, is exposed by an act of misjudgment, by an act of lack of maturity, by an act of stupidity, and then he's out there, or she is out there, being attacked. And I don't have lots of sympathy toward the journalist. I have lots of concern toward the public discourse that we have. the terrible wrongdoing of Ham and Gnan was making fun of their father, but not just that, then publicizing the act. Like Ham going to Gnan and Gnan going to his siblings, sharing this information with the only purpose of making fun of a fellow human being. How do we teach our society to distinguish situations in which you can use this kind of vocabulary and you can make fun of people? I don't think that you can make fun of the journalist. But how do you teach a society to not to speak that way in certain circumstances? Well, you teach your society not to speak that way in any circumstance. To refrain from that kind of speech. A very interesting aspect of this Torah portion actually appears way later in the Torah, in the book of Numbers, in Parashat Balak. Balak, the king who hired the sorcerer Bilam in order to curse the people of Israel. Tell us the rabbis that when Bilam, the sorcerer, was there trying to curse the people of Israel, trying to articulate a curse against the people of Israel, he couldn't do that because when he was looking at the encampment, he saw that the gates of the tent were in opposite directions from each other, that they were set in a way that they would respect each other's privacy. And so when he was trying to curse them, instead of uttering words of curse, he spoke words of blessing. He said, "Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Israel." How wonderful are your tents, O Jacob, and even more wonderful, the society that you have created. And I wonder, what about us? If we had the sorcerer standing on top of the mountain, would we get the blessing or the curse? Are we those who stop publicizing, stop making fun, stop the bullying, and respect the privacy of someone who has made a mistake, a bad decision, or we bring that to the right channels in order for that person to be judged? Or we are those that bring more wood to the fire and try to enjoy the show? Would we get the blessing? I don't know. But I hope that we take a moment to reflect on our ability to create a new covenant, to bring this beautiful rainbow that is described in Parashat Noach, and to decide that we are going to set our tent in a direction that we are not placing our noses in anyone else's privacy. That we are going to be those that try to keep each other's decency, as opposed to those that keep adding wood to a fire. And with that prayer, with that hope, that we will be hearing, "Ma tovu alecha Yaakov," how beautiful are your dwellings, how beautiful is the society that we are building. I wish to all of you Shabbat Shalom U'Vorach. We will turn our Siurim now to page 586. For Aleinu Leshabeach, we are going to be singing just a portion from Aleinu Leshabeach. Ve'ashevota el levabecha. Return us to you, return us to your heart. Ve'ashevota At this point of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. We think of those during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, those during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, and those during the cycle of the first year of mourning, as well as we think of those that have a yortzeit this week. Remember someone who by this time of the year, in years past, have passed away. We invite you, we encourage you to share the names of your beloved ones in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. So we align our hearts for Mourners Kaddish, to support our friends and to receive the support of our friends. On page 598 for Mourners Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי הרבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חילותי, בימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי המיה. יתברך, בישתבח, ביתפאר, ביתרומם, ביתנשא. ביתהדר, ביתעלה, ביתהלל, שמי תקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, למירם בעלמה, באמרו אמן. יש למה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ועושה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. May the memories of your beloved ones be a blessing, יהיה זכרם ברוך. And we also share that the emeritus rabbi of our beloved neighbor congregation, Beth Emet, Rabbi Mordechai Kiefer, passed away last week. We send our regards and condolences to all the members of TBT that are deeply connected to Rabbi Kiefer and his family, to Penelope, his wife, and to all the members of TVA, of course, Temple Beth Emet. I got a message also from Lynette, no, it was yesterday or today, telling me, I'm thinking of my mom, 57 years. This week is her yahrzeit, so Lynette, I'm thinking of you. And I want to encourage others, when you want me to have you in mind, I love that. So text me, email me, let me know. In a different situation, I will come after the service and reach out to you and hold your hand for a moment. And we don't get to do that. So let's make sure that we keep an eye on each other. So be always aware that besides the yahrzeit list that and we all get, when you want to talk about that, when you want to let me know, when you want me to be aware, I like being aware of you. With all that said, 2 more things. This week we started our class, a Seekers class. You still have time to sign up. This is a very, very important class. It's a beautiful space for study. And if you want to become, or you haven't come up to the Torah and you want to learn more about Judaism and you want to be an adult bar mitzvah, this is the path. If you want to go through conversion, this is the path. If you want to learn more about Jewish tradition and deal for the first time in your life with raw Jewish texts, this is the place. So we encourage you to become a Jewish seeker and to join our class. And lastly, I can tell you that we are working on our Crystal Nacht program already. Save the date. On Monday, the 9th, we will be remembering the Crystal Nacht and having a very, very important conversation. We are going to confirm our speaker on Monday night. So when you get the tip that's on Tuesday, you will have all the details about that conversation and the entire program. It's promising to be a fantastic opportunity for a deep conversation. So be tuned. We will keep you posted. And with all that said, we will turn our Sidurim to page 122 as we start to get ready for Kiddush. And I got it right. ויחולו השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו כמו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי, נזכרים לחיים עד חום. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים.
כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים. בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
לחיים.
לחיים.
Gabi, we promised a new cup so we can, the two of us, hold cups and then be doing different versions of
Dueling.
of Kiddush. So we'll get there. We need to do it. We'll get there maybe next week. We have an entire year to make it up to our promise. We invite you to connect. If you are standing next to beloved people, to connect with each other. Or just to close your eyes and think of those that you love. Think of those whose life and love have enlightened your life. We think of our parents, We think of our grandparents. We also think of our children. We pray for them to be protected. We pray for ourselves to have the ability to protect them, to teach them how to navigate this world that sometimes is so challenging and that is constantly changing. We pray for them to be whole, to find shalom, to find wholeness, to understand who they are and to love what and who they are. As we say to our girls, may God inspire you to be like Israel. שימח אלוהים כשרה רבקה רחל ולאה. We say to our boys, may God inspire you to be like the fathers of Israel. שימח אלוהים כאברהם, יצחק ויעקב, כאפרים וכמנשה. We bring all of them with their imperfections, with their wrongdoings, but with the legacy and the memory of love. And we say to all of them, Yibrechem Adonai be'ish merechem, may God bless you and protect you. Yad Adonai panav elechem bichunekem, may God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elechem, may God feel within you God's presence always. V'yasem lechem, v'yasem lecha. Shalom, and may God bless you with wholeness, with integrity, with love. May God give you peace. Adonai os lamo iten, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. Shabbat shalom.
God prepare me
To be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for
ועשוני ממקדש ושכנתי בתוכם ואנחנו נחיה מעתה
Shabbat shalom.